cannot give any sort of hope to. So Widar now starts to make the moves because he has to be the rider to respond for the first time. We've only got about 15 riders in that front group. Suddenly the race has completely exploded.
So what's happened is Belgium have used their teammates to keep the pace really, really high throughout this race. However, there's been so many athletes that have just been sitting in and protected and conserving their energy. And all of a sudden, in that one split moment, there's no Belgium other than Widar who can cover that move. And that's okay at the final of the race, in the final couple of laps. But when you're 60 kilometres out from the finish, if Widar has to cover every move himself with no teammates, it's going to make it a very difficult situation for him.
There's going to be some big questions asked if Belgium don't get a medal here. So it's Hector Alvarez. Coming up is the Italian rider, and that is Pietro Matteo, who's been really strong today. Widar is not prepared to close the gap on what's happening, and suddenly the hopes of Belgium are looking very much different to what they were a few minutes ago. In fact, less than 10 minutes ago, they were firmly in control. Lorenzo Fin is the Italian rider who jumps across. Italy have got all three, so they've got at least of their riders, if not four, in this front group. This is impressive. At the end of this lap, 2.5 hours of racing have been completed. The riders are coming up with 4 laps to go. The leading rider is Alvarez in the blue of Spain, followed by Schretzel of Austria, with Italy just closing the gap with Lorenzo Fin. Across the line this time, and it is hardly any riders left. Alvarez with an average speed of 41.082 kilometers an hour. The speed goes up, and at the front of the race, there's not that many riders left. There's 14 riders at the front.
This is a really, that was an exciting moment of this race, a very decisive moment of this race. That it really does indicate to us that it may have been a mistake, the tactic of the Belgians. It did play into the hands of the other riders and the Italian team and all the other individual riders that have the potential of winning the gold medal here. So I think they have to really, if they do get back together, really recover and reassess their strategy and maybe just not sit on the front, rather than sitting on the front, cover these moves.
Well, Alvarez has been caught and has gone on the attack again with 59 kilometres to go. He does not want Widar and the other riders to get any reinforcements because he's decided to go up the road, and we've only got this small group that's been absolutely shredded behind, who are all looking around and wondering what teammates are, where their reinforcements are, and Italy, I think, are playing their card. They've asked him for one rider to come up, Lorenzo Fin, and the Austrian rider goes to the front, Schretzel, but Italy have got, 3 riders in there, and they're playing the game of let's make everybody else ride. Widar, to me, I don't know about you, Rochelle, but to me, he doesn't have the legs because he's finding it hard to shut gaps.
Yeah, he should have been straight on to Alvarez's move because he knows he's a dangerous rider, but he didn't, or he couldn't. That's the question. Or he just hesitated, was relying on his teammates, and then realised, hang on, I need to cover this one. I'm the only one that's strong enough of the team to cover this. And he struggled to do it. So Alvarez is, in my opinion, the peloton are going to start looking at each other, who's going to work. And when someone goes to the front to pick up the pace, they're going to make sure it's hard for the rest of the riders. They're not going to just sit there and pull anymore. So we're going to have a real race on our hands here because there won't be any more formation. It'll just be like riders trying to take an opportunity to get on the wheel of Alvarez, but Alvarez is in his zone and these riders are going to hesitate and look at each other. So
it's a great opportunity for Alvarez. He's decided he does not want anyone else to come back. He wants to go on the attack. It's a long out. 59k to do that is impressive, but we've seen attacks already today that have gone to the finish, not this far out, but still fairly far out, as Alessandro Borgo goes to the front, and on his wheel goes Jan Huber of Switzerland. Jarno Widar is playing chess right now, but every time there's an acceleration, to me, he does not have the snap in his legs anymore. Look how hard he's having to work to shut the last metre.
And that's the thing, when you come to a world championship, you have a clear leader, and you have to really put faith in that leader. And nobody can predict how the leader can feel on the day, not even before one moment before the race. It's not until you're actually in the race. So they did have a clear strategy, but if the lead rider for Belgium today being Wieder, if he doesn't have the legs on the day, then you can have many different plans, and one may work, one may not. So obviously they realise at this point, okay, that wasn't the best tactic.
They're letting this group of riders come back. They're not too far behind. Wieder closes the gap on the Italian rider who goes to the front. Here's the rundown of the chasing group of riders. Lollerg of France, Wieder, Marti, Paricas, Kudulovic, Schretzel, Omrazel, Huber, Lopez. Ramirez of Ecuador has made it into this group as well, which is good news for Ecuador. There's not many riders, though, in that chasing group. Here's the big peloton coming, big, 20 riders maybe a little bit more in the chasing peloton, trying to make the junction to help out their teammates. And there's a lot of riders coming, Brad. Here they are coming back. Soderquist is in here, so he's recovered a little bit. The USA are represented as well. Belgium have got riders in here in Aaron Docks. Sitting on the back of the group is Halvard Dolven. But if there's that sort of acceleration again on this lap, how many of these riders will come back into the race? The average speed is still over 41 kilometres an hour now. 107 kilometres of racing covered on today's Under-23 World Championship. The peloton at 29 seconds. Look at the size of the crowd here now. Alvarez is our solo leader. Now, we haven't got you here for too much longer. This rider from Spain, Hector Alvarez, he looks impressive on a bike, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think he's made a really good move. He only has a 25-second advantage, which means if he's not so strong on the climbs, he may be brought back. But he took a very, very good moment. And he was strong. He was fresh. But a long way out, as we see, only 25 seconds with 55 kilometres to go. It's a big task.
It is a massive task, but he's still got 25 seconds. Maybe riders might come up to him. We know he's an okay climber. He won the mountains classification in Giro del Regione Friuli. He won that back in September. He was also 6th overall in the general classification in that race. He's ridden Burgos. He's ridden the Tour of Austria. He's done well in a number of different disciplines and different races. 18 years of age. 3rd on a stage of the Tour of Austria this season. As we look down then and we come back to him, he rides for Lidl Trek Future Racing. I was saying earlier on that now the junior riders, that's the race that all the agents want to watch, isn't it? How many agents have you seen here this morning?
The sport has changed so much. I mean, with all the development, and you mentioned earlier that teams are signing riders for very long periods of 5 or 6 years now, which didn't happen in the past. No. And they're taking riders from a very young age and developing them, which I think is a great thing, because you stay in the same environment, you get the best out of yourself, you don't have to keep moving teams and learning how to work with new staff and all that type of thing. So yeah, I think it's a great thing that these teams now are signing riders very young in the juniors, and then just they've got a steady base to develop their career over the next 6 years.
And the agents are signing them at 16 years of age, aren't they?
Yeah, and it's also for the athlete. It's nice to know that you have that security of not having to find a new team or get the results. It takes that pressure away because you have that contract. you'll have your ups and downs, but yeah, there'll be a lot of scouting going on in the junior and the under 23s. It's always been the way in the under 23s, but now they're really closely looking at the juniors.
It's amazing. Soderquist has decided to go on the attack now. The world time trial champion. He's decided to try and go across to Hector Alvarez. He was dropped, and it's probably a good tactic for the heavier riders in this group and the more sort of sprinter time trial riders. Tactically, you have to think about how, like this rider here, Soderquist, how to make best use of the course, because he's not as quick as these punchy climbers on the hills, is he?
No, he's being a bigger rider, it does make it quite tough. It was interesting this morning. I was speaking with Pat McQuaid. He mentioned he can't believe Ed Madison didn't come to the World Championship.
Oh, really?
He thinks Pedersen said that the course was too hard for him, more of a climate course. I said that I think he could manage it if the distance was a little bit less.
Yeah. Because the men's race is what, 268k or something like that. It's
the amount of climbing accumulated over that amount of time is where they say, okay, it looks like it's a classic style riders race, a heavy classic styles race, but when you put that distance in there, then it becomes more of a kind of climbing, smaller, skinnier type rider.
Yeah. Well, this group of riders coming across 25 seconds. And they're trying to close the gap on Alvarez. Has a little rest, shakes the legs a little bit, settles himself into this left-hander to make his way onto the next climb. He's now reached Kigali Golf again, so he makes his way onto this rise. He'll reach the top at 51.2 kilometres of racing to go. This is the chase. Decomble of France, Scoufs, Pomorski, Dons and Soderquist. And suddenly, Belgium have a different situation with Jasper Scoufs going on the move now for Belgium. Decomble is there. Soderquist can't go with the speed of the Belgian rider. This now puts the pressure back on other teams, doesn't it? Because Widar can sit in the wheels.
Yeah, I definitely think, looking back, I mean, they were very confident with their tactic, but maybe looking back, throwing out a few really, really big, strong attacks, putting pressure on other teams and riders to chase may have been a better tactic. But, that this course and environment and climate makes this race so unique that it's very, very difficult to just have a set plan.
Suddenly, Alvarez is about to be caught. There's an advanced party about to reach the back wheel of this rider from Spain, who's just working his way up this climb. So it looks like Jasper Scoufs is coming across.
He's pulling a big peloton with him. That's what they don't want to do. They want to put a bit of, when they use their effort, they don't want it to be protecting other riders and resting on the wheel. That's what the Belgians have done today with a lot of confidence. They've been pushing the wind the entire race until this point. From Alvarez, obviously, out there now being caught.
Suddenly the Italians are going backwards. This is not good news, but they've left Lorenzo Finn up there. This rider in front from the USA. Cole Kessler is being dropped as well. Everyone is fighting for survival because suddenly the key riders are making their moves. Munoz is also dropped. For Slovenia, Radbar is dropped as well. Alvarez refuses right now to let everyone come back, and he goes on the attack again. Schrettel of Austria is the rider who's going to have to close it. Lorenzo Finn of Italy is a very clever bike rider. He follows wheels, he surfs, he looks, he just doesn't do any work at all, Lorenzo Finn, that he doesn't have to do. And that's experience of a junior world champion who won solo last year. He's clever, isn't he?
Yeah, we'll only see Finn move when an attack goes from a rider that he thinks the peloton are not going to bring back, and he's the only one strong enough to jump over to it.
He's doing well so far, and now he's isolated because the rest of his aren't there. But Alvarez continues. Some bike rider, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's made a very good decision or pre-race tactic to throw out the attack and just don't worry how close they come or who comes over, just ride. He's got a very clear ambition.
He's going to get some company now. Looks like Schrettel might get to him, the Austrian rider. So we'll end up with 2 riders at the head of the race and then a group of, 20 riders behind. With another little group trying to come across of another 6 riders.
The thing I really love about this circuit, we see the breakaways and all the team tactics and all that goes on, but this circuit, because the cobble climbs so close to the finish, it really does give the strongest rider in the race the opportunity to win. So even, a lucky break that I hesitated, I didn't cover or something like that, it's this course design really does show you the strongest rider on the day. Every rider's fatigued, and it comes down to those last final laps where you see only the strongest that has managed the kilometres of this race, the distance of the race, the day and the climate. We do get to see who is the strongest on the day on this circuit. It's not a circuit where you get a lucky winner.
Well, it does show who's the strongest, who's the world champion. It's actually the rider from the helicopter shot. I thought it was the Austrian rider who'd gone across, but Halvor Dolven is the Norwegian. Now that we get up close, we're able to see Dolven, number 32 from Norway, has made his advance to get to Hector Alvarez. As we head towards the end of this lap, these 2 riders combining with just under 49 kilometres. 14 seconds to the chase. This race is far from over. How many more twists and turns are we going to have before we work out who the world champion is going to be? You get the sense, as Rochelle just said, that it is the strong riders who are now at the front. It's the ones who've got the legs, the ones who are feeling good. There's some riders hiding, playing, missing turns, following wheels when they have to.
Yeah, like some people may say, Alvarez made a lucky move, but nobody could. He didn't attack and he got caught, he got brought back, and he attacked again. And we saw riders were fighting to get across to his wheel, and only one's managed. So we are seeing on this particular circuit the strongest riders take the rainbow jerseys.
17 seconds, Alvarez goes to the front, onto the cobbles again. Top of the cobbles will be 46.4 kilometres from the finish. We'll then have the run into the line, 3 laps to go that time. And we've got a bit more of a swelling of numbers as we make our way to the cobbles, but the question is how many will make it to the top of the cobbles safely in the group. Cole Kessler at the back, wearing number 71 from the United States of America. Cole Kessler right on the back of the group, the American rider. This is Soderquist. Kessler, he also rides for Lidl Trek Future Racing, so his teammate is the rider from Spain who is out the front. This is the Austrian rider this time. This is Marco Schrettel, who's been good on the cobbles every time. And Poland in the ascendancy as well, as Alvarez kicks his way up this 10% gradient. Being dropped now is Aaron Dox, number 12 from Belgium. Can't see Jana Wieder for a little while. And being distanced also is the Slovenian rider, Ravbar, on the right-hand side. They've ridden a flat-out race, haven't they? They've not held back at all. It's just been full-on all day.
Yeah, it's been a very, very high speed, average speed here for the men's under 23 race. It's such a difficult circuit. We've seen the pace. It couldn't be any higher. It's just been... Alvarez was the only one who could actually increase the pace of what the Belgians were setting, and no one was able to match him at that moment. But he's just in the zone now. He may be caught, but my opinion is he'll just keep trying and trying and trying. He's obviously very strong and feeling very good.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Here comes the Polish rider coming across. This might be Gadulovic, who's trying to get there.
He's just swung off and said, come on, guys, give me a hand here. But nobody able to lift the pace.
Number 12 is dropped. Aaron Dox, we saw that a moment ago. He's still fighting to try and survive. A little group of riders coming across. One Italian rider in Lorenzo Finn. And as you said, Rochelle, Lorenzo Finn won't do any work until he feels like it's necessary. And now he feels like it's necessary because he's advancing at a very high rate. 4 riders coming across and none of them are Belgian.
Yeah, it's a good time for Finn to put his effort in to get across because while he's hurting himself, he's also hurting the other riders. So if he was to do it on a smooth surface or a flat section, he'd be protecting the other riders. But doing it on the cobbles on a steep section, he's hurting the riders as much as he's hurting himself. So it's the best place to put his big effort in to try and close that gap to the 2 leading riders.
Good job by him. So it's Lorenzo Finn, the junior world champion of last year, who pedals his way across to Dolphin and Alvarez.